Hi everybody, me and Cornelius are back for a video. I want to talk about Scorpio again today, and I know I did another video on Scorpio a while back, and it's really easy for me to talk about Scorpio, as you guys know, because I am a triple Scorpio, actually more than triple. Sun in Scorpio, rising in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio, Uranus in Scorpio, my north node in Scorpio over here in the west. Eastern astrology is a little bit different. Somebody commented on one of my videos the other day, and I appreciate all comments, guys. And he was saying in the East, you know, all Scorpios are Libras, and that's not true because it does depend on degree of Scorpio. But in the East, I am a Libra Sun, Libra rising, Libra moon. But you'll find similarities with both systems because what I do is I find the ruling planet, and the ruler in the East for me is Libra. So I look at Venus, which rules Libra, and my Venus over there is in Scorpio. So either way you shake it, both systems, you're going to really end up in the same place, Western or Eastern. I talk primarily about Western astrology because I'm a Westerner and that's just where we are. And that's what I've studied, although I do research both. So if you guys are into Eastern and Western, that's fine. When you really get into your research deep, you're going to find that there's similarities. I have a ton of Scorpio in my chart over here and some Libra, and I got a ton of Libra over there and a lot of Scorpio. So it's just the way it is. It's just different ways of doing the same thing, basically. So what I want to talk about today is if you guys are in love or really, really, really want a Scorpio to like you, what you need to do and because I always say so much of my astrological or my life has been about astrology. So, and I've known so many people in my life. So, I've always analyzed people. And of course, this is a really super, super basic astrology video. But because there's a lot that goes to it, you know, especially when you look at Venus and aspects to Venus and aspects to Mars to see what somebody's like. But, you know, this is really important for you guys who are like, oh, I want this, because Scorpio can be a little bit difficult to deal with. We know that. And I did a video a couple years ago about why you hate Scorpios, you know what I mean? And I am one, and I broke that down. But this one is, if you're into one, whether you're a guy or you're a girl or whatever, your thing is, like, this is what they are attracted to, okay? So I'm going to break this down for you guys. The first thing that Scorpio is attracted to, I found with both men and women, is they like funny people, okay? And I mean quick-witted people, and they like to laugh. They want to have a good time, just like those Leos out there. They want to have a good time. And the thing about funny people that Scorpio finds so attractive is that being quick-witted and funny is a sign of high intelligence. And high intelligence is going to be really important to a Scorpio, especially if they're serious about a relationship. If they're just like, whatever, just having a good time, maybe they don't care so much about that, but they have a really hard time dealing with people that aren't intelligent. So they like people that are creative and kind of quick-witted and unique thinkers and stuff like that, because, you know, that is a sign that it just gets boring to them if they're not with somebody that kind of is exciting, you know, and intelligent, funny people a lot of times are kind of exciting because you never know what they're going to say next. And I don't mean like mean, but like just funny, like quick. They love funny people. It will make them really, really, really like you if you're funny. Okay. So secondly, Scorpio, both men and women, and I have seen this with both, but they say with any man of any sign, it's almost like more, whatever the trait is, it's like you can see it more. It's more intense with the males. They do they have a desire for space. And I don't mean like they want to be in a relationship that's not a relationship, but they do need their alone time. It's one of those signs that needs to, kind of be able to do their own thing, because usually they have their own goals, they have their own aspirations, you know. And Scorpio is not the most traditionally romantic sign, I will tell you that. That's not to say that, you know, they don't like flowers and love letters and gifts and all that stuff like everybody else does, but they're not a particularly trusting sign. So if you are like, you know, sending them all these gifts and like blah 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 blah, and they don't really know you that well, they're going to be like, oh, that's nice, but they're going to assume you're doing it to like 5 or 6 other people, because some people are hopeless romantics. You know, those kind of people. Scorpio is not one. Hopeless romantics they'll meet like 50 people in their lifetime, like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love. Oh my gosh, this is the one. Oh my gosh. Well, that's not Scorpio saying. They're always kind of, as friendly as they come across, there's always a part of their brain that's like, can I trust this one? I don't know if I can trust this one. I don't know. So you have to like prove it to them, you know? Because they just assume that if they're doing it to you, they're doing it to other people too, you know, until you prove otherwise or whatever. So we have that. We have the sense of humor, being funny, being a funny person, being a fun person is really important. And whatever the other thing I just was said. But next, they Scorpio, and this is really, 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 really true with the women. Okay, this is really true with Scorpio women. They like ambitious men. And this is not because they're like all materialistic and superficial, because most Scorpios aren't. They're a little bit deeper than that. But the thing is that ambitious men is that it proves that they're not weak. And one thing that, and I mean mentally and emotionally weak, Scorpio women are attracted to strong men, manly men. So if they see a man that is trying to like live off people, or, you know, not just doing his own thing, always like, you know, I don't know what to do with my life. You know what I mean? They're going to see that as weakness. And Scorpio women like men that are protective. That's a sign of strength, protective of them. If you have kids, protective of your kids, protective of your animals, protective of your family. You know, they like those kind of, because men that are protective are typically stronger kind of men. And that goes along with the loyalty. Scorpio is a very protective sign. They're very protective, and they expect the same protection back. So if you're involved with a Scorpio, a real one, you're going to find that no matter what, they're going to have your back. They're going to have your back. If they love you, like that's it. They're going to defend you to the end. Now, if they find that you are a more weak individual and won't protect them, if somebody's talking about them behind their back and you don't protect them and they find out and you don't defend them, you might as well just say goodbye to the relationship, because then they're going to see you as weak. And, you know, always there's nothing wrong with trying to keep the peace, but sometimes you got to be honest with people and protect people and, you know, take care of what's yours and who's yours. So, that's the other thing. They really, 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 especially again, if they're being serious about a relationship, Scorpio women do not want somebody who's wimpy, you know, they don't like, they see men as, you know, because Scorpio's so ambitious, you know, at their best. They're very ambitious. So they expect, especially Scorpio women, men to be even more ambitious than them for their, you know, and not like competing with them, because a lot of times that's what happens, but ambitious in their own right. And, you know, like I said, you know, able to take care of things and really commit. You know, it's a sign that, that's a sign of, in a Scorpio's head, somebody that is strong. Scorpio females see that as masculine, basically. Lastly, Scorpios really don't like mean people. So one thing I've always done in my life is, if I go out with somebody new or whatever, like I always watch the way they treat waiters and waitresses and just strangers and other people. And if they're rude to those people, like right there, I see them as weak, because we all know bullies are weak. You know, we know that. So, you know, a Scorpio is intuitive enough to be like, hey, if they can do this to this person, they surely can do this to me, right? Later on, when they're not trying to impress me or whatever. So Scorpio does not like mean-spirited people. They don't like people that are mean to animals. They don't like people that are mean to other people. Now, sometimes you got to be mean in life to people. When people are mean to you, you got to set them straight. It's just the way it is, you know, verbally, you can't be a doormat, you know, but to go around for no reason and be mean is a big turn off to the sign Scorpio. Because remember also, Scorpio is one of those super intuitive signs. It's a water sign. It's a fixed sign. Like once they're on something, once they're in love with you, they're in love with you. Once they're not, they're not. It's just no in between with them. So they're always kind of using their intuition to kind of feel you out, especially if you're on like first couple dates with them, or, you know, and then sometimes it takes longer than that to really figure a personality out. But they really admire strength in other people. And they don't want people that are jealous and or compete with them. And I've said this before in other videos about Scorpio. We don't do jealous people. And I don't mean just like, you know, friends that are jealous of you or whatever. I mean like male-female relationships or any kind of love relationship, whatever. Like if that person's competing with you and doesn't have their own thing going on and is like, doesn't have their own success and everything else, that's a turn off to Scorpio, because Scorpio is always looking for somebody that's a partnership. A lot of them have Libra in their charts too. They just do naturally. They're not looking for one person to be above the other person. They're looking for, you know, they're idealistic in that way, a partnership where you help each other up, build each other up. If they feel like they're the one that's being relied on to make decisions all the time, or be the strong one in the relationship, it's going to turn them off. They want mutual respect. But again, they're not these classic romantic people. They're not going to go around like crying over every single person and, you know, chasing people. It's just when they're done, they're done. That's just all there is to it. So these are some things about the sign Scorpio, guys. If you are interested in one, if you're trying to get together with one, date one, whatever, that's some things that, some ways that you can attract Scorpio. And even if they don't end up loving you, if you can just do those things, they're probably going to at least like you a whole bunch. All right, until next time, guys. Thanks. Bye.